it's taken us a long time to get back into a routine since break because of all the testing, okay? We did a quick review where we thought about our character and we made predictions based on what we knew about our character. That was the last thing we was working on. Well, today we're going to revise our theories about characters. In really easy words, that means change our thinking. We're going to change our thinking about our characters by using new details in the text and referring to the passages that mattered. So I revised my theory about Armand when he actually got a job. Because of the new details in the text, I decided that he was actually going to start to become a responsible citizen. Okay? So you're going to be doing that as you're working. So we know there's turning points in stories that makes change our thinking. There's a problem, and then they have a solution to the problem, and then we keep going up that mountain and all the way up. Every time that happens, you're using new details from the text to change your thinking or revise your theory about your book. And right now we're really just focusing on characters. So first off, the first thing I want to talk about since we're coming back into this is, since we're doing character study, we need to be in a chapter book, number one. Number two, to be able to revise your thinking or change your thinking about your character, you have to know your character. So would this be a strategy that would work in a new book that you're just starting? No, because you don't know your character. How can you change your thinking if you don't even have any thinking? So, if you are in the middle of a chapter book, and this is a strategy that you could try today, give me a thumb so I can see who's... Okay, how many of you are starting a new chapter book? So that strategy's probably not going to work so well. You're developing your thinking about your character, so you can't change it. So what strategy would work if you're starting a new chapter book? Lauren? She remembers that T-chart that we did at the very beginning of the year. And I just did it this morning with students in my other group that weren't here when we did it, and they thought it was pretty awesome. I'm going to remind you. Okay?
It's up there.
My turn. And it's one of the ones that I've left up so you guys can see it. Okay? We did like a T-chart, and we put characters, the setting, the problem. And then over here we put our wonderings. Okay, I've added to this chart today, but before we read today, I had down that the main character was a boy that was 14, and that he lived in the Ozark Mountains, and that he had a dog and a pocket knife, and he thought things were pretty good. And he had a mama and a papa, and he had a little sister, is what he called her, Daisy, but actually she's a twin. So when we hear little, we often think younger, but in this case, she's just smaller in stature probably. And the wondering I have had today before I started reading is, why is it called Summer of the Monkeys? So if you're starting a brand new chapter book, this is a strategy that really helps you get to know your characters because you're taking notes about those characters. So today as I read, I added stuff as I was reading. Okay? And that helps me remember and understand the characters. So I want you thinking about you as a reader. You know if you could take on this strategy or not. If this is a strategy that you could try today, I want you to share with your partner. And if you can't, I want you to tell your partner what it is you're going to do today. Need a need. What? Yeah, you're changing your theories.
I'm gonna do the T-chart. But it's not.
So which are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Because I've been reading that book.
And the character's changing? Okay. back to me, please. Calm down. We'll find it. All right. So I was listening to these two because they were right here. And one person is starting a new book, and he's going to do the T-chart. And another person is going to be revising or changing his thinking about his characters as he reads by paying attention to the details and notice how the character's changing. Okay? So that's your job today. You need to write in your notebook. You will be sharing with a partner. And when you get back, your partner already knows, oh, he's going to be showing me his T-chart because he's starting a new book. And Juan knows that Hunter's going to be talking about what he's noticing about his character because he's in the middle of a book. We're all proficient readers, and we make choices, and we pick the strategies that work best for us. Some days, the strategy's not going to work so well if you're in a brand new book. Okay? I'm glad that you guys are aware that sometimes you use strategies, sometimes you don't. If I teach a strategy, we know that one's not going to work for me today. As long as you can explain to me why you didn't try it, I'm okay with that. Now, if you came up and said, I just didn't want to do that today, it didn't sound like what I wanted to try, is that going to work so well?
Poopy.
But if you came up to me and said, you know what, I'm starting a brand new book, and you explain, then I'm okay with it. So you just have to be able to justify your thinking. Why did you choose not to do this? You have to be able to tell me. All right? Any questions? Okay. Off you go.
Take a picture.